Hello, healers and health seekers. It's me, Ichoda, healing with medical medium information for, I can't remember, just over 3 years now. I'm a little sleepy. I gotta make these videos in the morning. A lot of times it's before I'm kind of awake. So that's just how it is. It's how it is in the RV. I gotta grab the time when the time is available and just make the best of it. So, oh, it's time for What's Up Wednesday. That's when I come in here, I make a video talking about what's up in my healing journey, what's been going on with me. And I know it's most of the videos I've been doing lately, but we're house hunting, and that hasn't really left time for much else because it takes up the whole weekend. My husband has kind of a flexible, it's a little bit of a flexible work schedule, and so on Friday he was able to come home early enough that we got in a few houses on Friday, and then we went also out on Saturday, and then we went also out on Sunday, and then we also went out. I think I had a day where I was like, I need a day of rest, but my husband went after work and looked at a house, and then yesterday, which was Tuesday, we also looked at a house, which was the same house actually. It was going to be another one, but that other one didn't work out. So that's a lot of days in a row of house hunting. I have sort of a general rule that I try to keep to as much as possible, which is Monday is a day of rest, because generally the weekends are busier for us. And again, just still in my healing journey here, and healing takes time, and just after a weekend of busyness, I tend to need rest, and then I'm like, okay, and then I'm good to go on Tuesday. So yeah, Monday was my day of rest, and it was not enough, but I'm getting there. However, I do want to say about that in and of itself is a victory check, to be able to go out days in a row, because in the past, especially when I was sick, but you can't even count when I was sick, because when I was sick I couldn't go out at all. I couldn't have gone house hunting. That was not even a possibility. But even after I started healing, I don't know, for the first year, maybe even 2 years, for the first year or maybe even 2 years, I couldn't go out days in a row. It would be too much for me. And I remember sort of the gradual progression was like, for a while, you know, I was functional at a level, and then, but would like 3 stops in any given day. Like 3 stops would be the absolute most that I could do, and that would kind of crash me out a little bit. And I would need a couple of days of recovery time. And as I've been healing, my recovery time gets faster and faster. And it's not that I don't ever crash, but I don't crash to the level that I ever used to. My recovery time, again, just gets faster and faster. So something now might wear me out, but then I'm fine after just a little bit of rest. Like, I just need to take it easy for a little bit, and a little bit can be a couple hours, and then I can do something again. Or a little bit could be even a day, like when this last weekend where we went house hunting. And remember, with like I have a lot of sensitivities, multiple chemical sensitivity, and that again, my recovery time is much faster, but I still take a hit sometimes. You know, like I'll feel a headache coming on if I go into a house that has something that is something I react to. So not just a headache, I'll get brain fog, and I'll get, like, if somebody, I won't go into a house that's ever had any kind of plug-in air fresheners or anything like that, but if it has like old house smell, if you've ever been in an old house that's empty, you know what that smell is. There's just this smell to it, and I think it's probably like decaying building materials, and it depends on the age of the house. Like if it's from the 50s and decaying, it can be like really strong. But sometimes it can even be from like 1925 or something like that, and it's not so bad, because I think the building materials that they began to use in the 50s and on got way worse, especially the 50s. Like really just was like the worst decade for building materials. So if I go into a house, and several of the houses we've looked at recently are from the 50s, and I realize that that is a decade that I need to not look at houses from, because it just, everyone that we went into has just had that smell to it. And it's, I don't know what it is, but it's like something about it, but it gives me like, I react to it, like my face has just breaks out in like a itchy red rash, and it's awful. And it's just, it gives me a headache, and I get brain fog, and I start getting confused and just feeling awful. So no more houses from the 50s. I don't care how cool they look. The one that we went to look at yesterday was from the 60s, and it was okay. It was okay. It had this kind of cool, funky architecture style that I liked, and it was really neat on the inside because it had been redone and updated, and the furniture inside of it was all mid-century modern. Anyway, that doesn't matter. That's not... Anyway, it was just cool. So all of those smells and things like that can take me out a little bit, and I can react, and it's not great. So it's a lot. It's a lot. So for me to be able to go house hunting for days in a row like that, and just keep going, keep getting up and going back out, and getting up and going back out, and of course when we go, we pack a cooler full of food and snacks so that everybody will have replenishment of glucose and mineral salts while we're out. And while it is a lot, and today I am just, worn out, and I probably will take a nap later, I can do it. I can do it. And that is a victory check. The fact that I can just keep getting up and going out day after day. Like I said, the progression was not being able to do more than 3 things in a day. And we've done like 4 houses in a day, and then gone to Costco afterwards on the way home. And that is, I'm aware of it. Like as it's happening, I'm like, look at me, look at this, look at us going out and doing, and just going to as many houses as we want to, and then still going to Costco, and I'm still fine. Like I'm still doing well, and this is amazing. Like my recovery time and my resilience really is getting faster, and I really am able to just handle it. And yeah, I'm tired when we get home, but my husband's tired too. Like we're all tired, and it's pretty cool to realize like I can do this. And I'm also still like kind of dealing with all of the adrenaline that's been going through my body for the past several months, and all of the stress, and all of the, I've been having some flares and stuff like that. And even though I'm having all of that, and there's a little bit of pain in my body and stuff, still resilient, still able to do it, still able to go out and see all these houses and do this thing. And I just feel really good about that. That's pretty great. And yeah, it is a roller coaster, house hunting and being in the situation that we're in, and we're trying to make the best of it, but it's hard, and I've talked about that, so I'm not going to go like super a lot into that right now, because I don't want to take myself into that place where I feel that way. But it's really interesting. Like here's like an interesting thing that happened yesterday. I can get all down, because yesterday there was a house that I kind of had high hopes for. Like I really wanted to go see it. It was a little farther out than I wanted us to be, but the house itself, at least in photos, which photos lie, so I don't know, that's why I wanted to go see it, but at least in photos it seemed to check all our boxes. And so I was really excited about it. But we looked at because it's quite a drive. Like from where we are, it can be between 45 minutes and an hour depending on traffic to get there. So I wanted to I looked at the seller's disclosure, and there was some stuff that came out like as deal breakers in the seller's disclosure. So I was really disappointed about that, and I could feel my mood. It's so interesting how I feel. It's such a contrast, and I just feel it. It's like I feel the heaviness coming over me, and I felt that happening, and I was like, oh, like it is hard. And the thoughts start swirling, and I started feeling not good, and watching that sort of come over me. And my husband had gone and seen this house that he really liked the day before, and he had gone by himself the day before because it was just on the way home from work for him. So I said, I'm really bummed out about that other house, but we can just go look at this house. I'm like, I think I'm in a really crabby mood, but we'll just go look at it, whatever. So again, I just have to stop again and say, I could not have done that in the past. I could not have done that in the past in my healing journey. And I don't know how far in the past, but if I was in that space, it would just be like, I can't do anything today. And I was in that space and I was still able to go do something. And so victory check again, hashtag victory check for the being able to be functional, even though I knew I was in that grumpy space. And I still packed a cooler of snacks and I got everything ready and we went. Since it was only one house, like I just made a smoothie for myself and my husband had a smoothie, and I packed snacks for my son. If you're wondering what I packed, my homemade cooked salsa and a bag of Siete chips and a bag of raisins and a dish full of cut up mango for my son. We are just going hog wild on mangoes lately, he and I, and eat as many of them as possible. So anyway, that's what I packed for just one house, and his water and jar of lemon water for me, because I gotta have my lemon water always, and a smoothie. So that's what I packed. We went to that house and the location was about as good as you can get. It is in an area that we like so much, and it was such a good location that you'd almost be like, I'll live in a smaller house. But our teenage son did not feel the same way, because he doesn't know or care about location the way we do. We were trying to explain it to him a little bit, but anyway, the house was just a little too small, but it was a nice house, and it was like, oh, this is almost everything that we want. This is almost. It had a couple things that weren't, but the trees there were just beautiful, and we saw a little frog, and it's just the energy there was really good. It just felt really good. Like the whole neighborhood was kind of these like early 60s kind of funky architecture style houses, and they were all on the outside had like really interesting, it's like, do artists live in every one of these houses? Because they had very interesting facades. And anyway, so it was uplifting to be there, even though we knew it's like, okay, this is not our house, but it's close. So we sort of felt like there was hope, like, oh, we almost found it, we're getting closer. Because the last couple of houses we've looked at have felt like that, like, oh, this isn't quite it, but we're getting closer. Like, this is more of what we're trying to go for. And this house felt like that to us too. And then like driving out there, the sky was like those kind of fluffy white clouds, kind of like a little bit like The Simpsons. And then driving back, the sky changed and the clouds changed in a really interesting way, and they looked sort of like they had been smeared. Like, it was just, I'm a sky watcher. I love to watch the skies and the birds and the clouds and whatever else is in the sky. And so I took a bunch of photos and was watching the clouds as we went home, and it was just really lovely. And I thought, it was worth the drive, even if it was just for this sky, really. And my whole mood was uplifted by that house, even before the sky. Like, my whole mood was uplifted by just going into that house and looking around and seeing it and feeling it and looking at the trees outside and listening to the birds and the cicadas. And I just felt better, like, going out. And it gave me hope. And that's not for nothing. That's a lot. We're going through this really rough journey right now. It's rough. Like, I'm trying to keep up with all the things that I need to do for my healing. Some things that I really need to do for my healing, I am not able to do, and that's very frustrating for me. I'm not gonna lie, I think I'm gaining weight because of the lack of movement and ways to drain my lymph and stuff like that. Like, it's really frustrating. And I've been eating a little more fat. I've been eating fat, period. I should just say I've been eating a little bit of fat, which is way more than I had been eating, because anything is more than zero, and I had been completely fat-free for a really long time, several months, and that was feeling really good, and I'm kind of not right now, and I'm not thrilled about that. Like, it's not what I want to be doing, and yet here we are. I'm still on my protocols, I still do all the medical medium foods and stuff like that. I just am eating a little bit of fat, and I don't want to be eating the fat. So it's not ideal. So it's kind of like anywhere you find hope is really important. Really, really important. Like anything that you can grab onto that gives you just that little spark of light. Like yesterday, the sky, the birds, a little frog, the trees, just being in this house that was like this artist-owned house with all this beautiful art on the walls, obviously very loved and cared for, which of course that's like, my husband and I really like that sort of funky, eclectic style where it's like, this is not like all the other houses, this house has been loved, and this house, it has its own character. We really like houses with character. And I don't know, just all these little things like getting out, changing the venue, and I don't get to do that very often. I'm kind of just always in this space right here that you see right here. I'm always in this space. And it weighs on me a lot. Sometimes it gets to be too much, and yeah, and so just whatever I find, and that yesterday, it's like, yeah, there it is, hope, it's there. And it's so important on any healing journey to have hope, to find that thing that gives you hope, no matter what it is, and no matter how small, and to allow it in too, because we need it, like we need it so much to have hope. And when you get the one little spark of hope, then it allows you to use your other tools that you need to use to give yourself more, to support yourself more. So for me, that was yesterday, really being able to go through that list of life-changing angels and talk to them and ask them for what I need, and just be available for that for myself. And that makes me feel better when I can do that. And I haven't felt very able to interact with social media lately. I try a little bit, but it's like, it sort of just feels like there's a barrier, and I can't really read very many posts or post anything. I just posted something today, but it's been a while since I have. As an aside and related to that, I think that if you don't post super regularly on Instagram, that they stop showing your posts to people. I just noticed that. So when I post less people see my posts when I do post, and that's weird. I mean, I understand it. It's because they want to reward you for interacting more. So if you interact more, your posts get boosted higher. So if you're posting like multiple times a day, because I notice it with who I see. If somebody doesn't post for a while and then they post, sometimes I won't see their post, and the only reason I'll know is because someone else points it out, or it'll be like days later that their post shows up or something like that. And I don't know. Instagram has really weird algorithms, and I think Facebook does the same thing, and so does YouTube. I think they all kind of do the same thing, where if you post regularly, you're more likely to be seen, and if you post sort of sporadically or infrequently or like not consistently, then your ability to be seen at all when you post goes like way down. I think that's dumb, because I don't need for people to be posting 20 times a day for me to want to see their posts. In fact, though, when people post multiple times a day, it gets to be too much for me, and sometimes I unfollow them just because it's like I can't handle that frequency from the same account over and over. It's just too much for me. I'm already following like way too many people on Instagram, but I don't see all their posts. I know I don't see all their posts. Well, first of all, I don't have the time to scroll through to see all their posts, but even if I do manage to like scroll all the way through to where it says you're all caught up, I'm like, I know I'm not seeing the amount of people I follow and the amount of people I see. Not even close. Again, I know not everybody posts every day, but it's uh well, the camera decided for me that that was enough of that nonsense about about social media because battery died. Okay, so my point had been, it's just important to find what gives you hope on this healing journey and to allow it in, to grab onto it, and to use the light of that hope to light up other things, because holy moly, things can get really hard. They can get really hard, and it's okay to feel that that's really hard. And I'm really talking to myself here. Like, it's okay that I feel that that's really hard. And also, again, listening to Matt Kahn helps me with that too, because I was listening to a couple of his, well, I think one show I listened to a couple of times last week. It was The Power of Intention, and he just keeps reminding us that have the emotions, but remember to love the one who's having the emotions. And when I do get in that feeling and remember to stop and breathe into myself, I put my hand on my heart and say, I love you, I love you, I love you to myself. It diffuses that spiral that starts to happen where my brain just starts to spin out. It just diffuses that a little bit. It softens it, and it supports me. It helps me support myself. And it's such a valuable tool when I can do it, when I can remember to use it before I get into that like super spiral. It's just, yeah, it's so valuable. And thinking about what it's going to be like when we have a house, honestly. Again, remembering things that I loved about it, having a house before, and thinking of things that it's going to be great. Like, I cannot wait till we have a house, because I'm going to have my own little room, my own office. That's maybe my office and sewing room. I don't know. We'll see. So I think about that. I think about, I'm going to have my office where I can film my videos, and I can leave the camera set up, and I can just have a little place for everything, and and then my kitchen with space and counter space where I can spread out and I can have the appliances out, and it can be, well, where we'll have a fruit shelf and stuff like that in the kitchen. And I just get really excited about that. And a sunroom where Pendleton can play around, and a nice yard where we can grow a garden and have a trampoline and plant some fruit trees and berry bushes. That's what I think about. And see how happy my face gets? Do you see how I light up when I talk about it? Because it just makes me feel so good. And then I do things like, I found an Instagram account and a YouTube channel recently that can keep me occupied and have for hours and hours. And especially like when I'm kind of in that brain foggy state, and kind of all I can do is just sort of like, maybe watch some stuff on YouTube or whatever. And darn it, I can't remember the name of the channel. I'm going to link to it below because it just is giving me such joy. It's this dad, and I think he must be a stay-home dad, because he's like, it's him with his little very, very young daughters. He has two very, very young daughters who are adorable, and he interviews them, and then he like edits these interviews together in such a way, and it's hilarious, and he'll like caption what the babies are saying. He's so funny and so clever, and I love that he has taken this experience and time in his life and made it into this beautiful creative channel with his little girls, and it's a treasure, and it makes me laugh so hard. And I always just sit there when I'm watching it, a big smile on my face, and talk about raising the vibe. It is precious. So I'm going to link to it below, because my memory lately, I cannot even tell you guys. I just like, what's going on? Anyway, that, I do remember the name of the Instagram account that I fell in love with, because it's a little boy, again, little kids and animals, oh my gosh. It's this little boy named Wyatt, and his best friend is a parrot, and it's adorable. His dad's run an animal sanctuary, and that is their life. Like, it is amazing. They travel to amazing places when they go on vacation, but their daily life is amazing because it's an animal sanctuary. They have emus and farm animals like horses and cows and pigs and turkeys and they have everything. They have dogs and cats and all of these exotic birds, and they take in all of these animals and they care for them. And this little boy, who's like 3, I think, is growing up in this like just this environment of all these animals. I swear this kid's an animal communicator. I swear he can communicate with the animals because I've watched so much of their videos. Their Instagram account is The Gaijin Cowboy, and I'm so in love. I'll link it below too. Vibe raising. These 2 accounts, channels, whatever, have given me so much happiness in the past few days. And you know what? It is so important when you're going through a big, hard, bad time, and when you're struggling and when things are rough, to find something that gives you that. And when I found these 2, I was like treasure trove, because both of them are accounts with a lot of content that I've never seen before. So I was like, well, I just found my new happy places on the internet within a couple days of each other. Yay. So that honestly has helped me a lot too. And people praying for me and looking out for me, I guess, because, I keep posting about it, I keep talking about it, so people know what I'm going through right now, and they know that I'm having a hard time, and they keep sending their prayers and love, and every one of them makes a difference. I promise you. I feel it. I feel supported and loved and cared for, and I know I'm not alone, and that is a lot. That is a lot. And tonight I have my sister circle call, and that's going to be amazing, because every time I connect with those women, it's just vibe raising. I love it. So yay for having supports in place that are helping, and yay for being able to see the little joys in life and know that there is support for me. And every time we go out to look at a house, I always ask the unknown angels and the angels of travel. I don't know if there's an angel of travel, but I made it up just in case there is. I'm just going to assume. So I ask them both. Unknown angels and angels of travel, I always ask to keep us safe and protected when we're traveling and anywhere we're going, and to keep the people around us on the road safe. Just keep everybody safe while we're traveling. Man, let's have it be a great travel day, and yeah. Sometimes pugs, they get these little, because they don't have the longer noses, they don't have the long snouts, and her nose is actually like pressed in. Muffins' nose is actually pressed in, so they get these little, something will get caught in the back of their throat or whatever, and so she makes that noise. It's cute, but I feel for her when she does that, because I know that she's like trying to get something out, dislodge something. Okay, better wrap this up because it's time to make celery juice. I didn't really talk about my food today, but rest assured that my mornings are always the same. Again, I still have my solid mornings, which is lemon water, celery juice, blended melon, and then the heavy metal detox smoothie. And that's been going great. I have recently added Celery Force. Medical Medium did that live about Celery Force recently, and it totally convinced me because, first of all, he's never done a live just on one supplement before. That's never happened. And secondly, I had been having so much brain fog lately, and he kept talking about it for brain fog, and I was like, yeah, okay, I'm just gonna buy 12 bottles and take it all. Not at once, but so I started giving it to my whole family, and I've been taking it. I do believe that it is making a difference, and I think I may possibly increase my dose, but we'll see. I'm trying to go slow at it, but he really seemed to be emphasizing how much we all needed it right now, probably Or I figure the ones of us who need it will have heard that live or resonated in some way with it and gotten it, because everyone I've talked to lately has been going through brain fog, even when they don't usually. So I can't help but think something's up. And we need the extra protection. That's all I'm going to say about my food. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for continuing to come along with me on my healing journey. Thank you, my healers and health seekers, for being here, for sharing your journeys with me. Please tell me how your week has been. Have you had brain fog lately? Let me know in the comments below. If you have had extra unexplained brain fog where you're just like, what? I can't think, I can't concentrate, I can't focus. What is going on? Everything's like a pea soup. I know a lot of people have been struggling lately. I have you all in my prayers. I really do. I still have that little notebook. Why don't I ever have it when I'm doing a video? Because it's by my bed. That's where I keep it. I keep it by my bed so that I can look at the notebook every night and say prayers for everybody, healing prayers for everybody. If you want to be added to that notebook, if you want me to put you in my healing prayers every night, let me know in the comments below. I'm happy to add you. If there's something specific you would like me to pray for or ask for, add that too. Just let me know. You know I love you. I wish so many blessings for you on your continued healing journey. Stay curious. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.